Oh my gosh.
So Garlic Burp wonders if we're ever going to change the population cap so we're not stuck with just 10 people. That was one where it wasn't just about resources, though. I mean, certainly the more people, like right now, you can't actually have your entire community milling around your base all at once. You've got more people in your community than when you're at max than the game can actually handle. Rendering and keeping track of their AI all at the same time. And so if we raise the population cap, that would start to become really, really obvious. If you have, 40 people living in your community, but you only ever see 6 or 7 at a time, you'd start to really notice. So at 10 or 11, it's not that bad. But when you start getting higher than that, it starts to get kind of weird. And so it's partly a resource thing, but it's also just the fact we didn't want this to be the kind of game where, like, say Frostpunk, for instance, is one of my favorite games of this year. And all of the characters, like, it's about running a city, right? An apocalyptic city, and there's hundreds of people in your community. And all of them have names, all of them have jobs. Like, if you click on any one of them, you can see who they are. But you don't actually care. They're just numbers to you. And that's fine, because that's the kind of game it is. It's a large-scale community management simulator, and it's supposed to be that way. They're not expecting you to really get deeply involved with any one character. But in our game is structured very differently. We really actually do want you to be deeply involved emotionally with some of your characters. We really want you to care about them as individuals. Kind of the way another game by the makers of Frostpunk, this War of Mine, will let you have communities of maybe 4 or 5 people max, but you really were aware of who each character was, what they had done in the story, and and what their skills were, what their advantages and disadvantages were. You really got to know them, and so we wanted our game to be closer to that end of the spectrum, not all the way down to like 3 or 4 people. But we wanted our game to be in that zone where you get to know the characters and they're important to you. And so the numbers really are important to that. If you've got 30 people to keep track of, you can't possibly know them all, to that level of detail, the way you can if you've only got 6 or 7. And so we made a conscious design choice to have this be a game that's about small communities specifically, so that you could get to know the characters rather than just thinking of them as a resource.
Bring friends.
So while you are on the way, I've been collecting a few questions from the audience about like future features they wish that we would add, some of which I think we could probably say something intelligent about. Do you want me to go through some of these?
Yeah, that sounds great.
All right, so Prox Macintosh wants to know, is there a plan to remove the soft cap for population? So were you going to say something, Joe?
Yeah. So Randy, who is now the lead designer on State of Decay 2, and we have talked about that a lot and how much of a pain in the butt it is. So the answer is we want to change it, but it seems like such a small thing, like you just change that one little number. But there are so many missions that are tied to that one little number that it would not be a small change. Right.
Yeah, unfortunately, like part of the problem is when we set that number up, we didn't set it up like there's an automatic, like the game just knows what the soft cap is, and any mission can just check the soft cap and see if you've got the right number of people. Instead, we got missions manually checking the number 9 or whatever. Like they're checking the number, and you would have to go through, and it's not just missions. There's like other features as well. There's like lots of parts of the game that assume that those numbers are staying the same. And so if we just change the number, a bunch of stuff would probably break. So it would be an elaborate process to find all the places to make those changes and make them. But I love that your team is talking about it, because I agree, it is one of the most weird and annoying parts of the game.
Thanks for watching. For mods, weapons, heroes, and more, check out the link in the description down below. I'll see you in the next one.